Hey, everybody, listen. It's Friday night. It's trending topics, and I'm glad to see y'all in the building. And Dana, you said, how did you miss the train? I'm telling y'all, the platform gets packed. It gets jam packed just like that. Okay, so you got to be here and be early and be waiting on the platform. You got to grab your ticket, okay? Because you know what tonight is. It's Trending Topics Friday. And woo. We about to get into this, okay? Glad to see y'all here. What's on the docket tonight? Well, you know, the girls over there at Potomac, they're filming. They're filming and they're fighting. I mean, come on now. Come on. All of these ladies over there, they good and grown. They good and grown. I'ma say if you 35 and over, you good and grown. And they over there fighting. I'm talking about putting the paws on each other. I'm talking about there was blood drawn. I'm talking about somebody had to get on the ambulance. Whoa. But we'll talk about it. Then we're going to talk about Garcelle Beauvais. Okay. Garcelle, remember last season, some bots, went after her son. It was a whole hot mess. And Diana was supposed to do an investigation. But you know what Garcelle said? She said she knows who's behind it. She says she'll never say it. She's not going to use her words, but she says she knows who did it. That's what Garcelle said. And she also said that, you know what? She kind of knew that Kyle's marriage was in trouble. We're going to get into it. And then we're going to close this story out with some childbirth troubles, okay? Long time ago, Judge Hatchett, daughter-in-law, gave birth and she passed away. Now her husband won a lawsuit against the hospital and some others. They settled, but we got to talk about this story. So we're going to get into it. So listen, everybody, y'all know what needs to go down. Y'all know what needs to happen, right? Come on, like fighting and filming, honey. Fighting and filming. What a mess. Okay, but come on, Radiance. I appreciate you. Y'all know what needs to go down in the chat so I can board this train. I need a what? Choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. We about to have Friday night trending topics. And when you catch this train, catch the train. Don't catch feelings. Stand your ground, because I'm going to stand mine. Speak up. Say what's on your mind. Don't attack the person. Attack the conversation. Okay, are we ready, guys? Because I'm about to board this train. Oh, we got the boss in the building, but we don't see your face, boss. Woo! Come on now, give it to them. Give it to them, okay? I'm coming out. Come on, Diana Ross, honey. Vogue. Give it to the people. I'm trying to tell you, honey. Showing that hair. I love it.
Yes. Okay. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. It's Friday, people.
Thank you. I know that's right. Come on now.
How y'all doing?
Honey, I love this.
Watch your nene.
Come on. The t-shirt, the lipstick, the hair. Y'all showing out tonight. It's Friday, honey. Give it up. Hey, in my opinion, Nikki, Sebastian, come on now. The train is back.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, everyone. Today's
Hey, Diva.
Okay.
Hey, Diva, everybody.
Emmanuel. Well, that's it, people.
Hello.
Okay.
What's
the
up?
Train is back.
I'm driving, but I'm here.
All right, now looking gorgeous. Y'all showing out. Come on now with the pink. That's right.
Nice.
People, okay. All right now, hey.
Look at my cute nephew.
Good. The people looking good. All right, y'all. So we're going to go ahead and get these topics started, okay? The girls over there at Potomac, they're filming and they're fighting. See, you know what? I see they brought back some of them people from last season. What's that darn child name? She was trouble from the day we met her.
Deborah.
Deborah, that's right. Come on,
the Sesame Street character.
Street, yep.
That one.
Oh, Deborah. I was calling her.
Well, she's not actually back. She's just an intruder.
Ugh.
You know what? She's problematic. She's problematic.
Yeah, somebody called them baddies of RHOP.
Yeah, that part. You know, I knew from the minute I saw her that it wasn't gonna go well, because you know what, she want that roller check. Well, we're not about to give it to you, girl, coming over here with this ratchetness, fighting. being
Well,
messy.
she saw Marlo did it for Roa, so she's thinking that she could do it too and become a housewife from being ghetto as a friend.
Don't go there.
Don't
go
start.
there.
I said.
Don't start.
Yeah,
Don't
well,
start.
okay. So let
Now
me
that ain't how the fluke's supposed to be acting. The fluke's not supposed to act like that.
come on now. Now let me share this screen here. 1 second. Let me see where this ridiculous. Okay, thanks, TMZ.
All
Now I'm
right,
probably gonna have to mute some of this because there's some music back going on. But okay, so stay close to it because just pay attention. I'm about to play this here. This is a mess. And you know what? Nobody's gonna want any of these reality shows in the establishment because it is nonsense. Now let's play this. This is a fight. This is for real. He's on the floor.
Wow. Oh my God.
Let me mute this. I hear music. What a hot mess. Candace picks up a bottle. Candace say you ain't picking up no bottle.
But who is actually fighting?
I think it's
Wendy friend and Ashley friend.
Whoever in the green or teal.
The people that's not getting checks on the show?
Wendy friend is actually a friend of the show. Ashley friend is just an intruder. She was on there last season talking about everybody wanted her.
Mm-hmm.
On the floor, people.
Wow.
This is a mess.
Where is the Grand Dame?
Yeah, where is she? Is she there?
I think she left early.
She in the restroom with that man. Sorry.
Oh,
Then holding her back.
She was there. She's the one that had on the. She was there. She had on the red suit.
Let me see this.
No, there's music.
Is that the
That's
Grand
not
Dame
her.
right there?
No, that's not her.
This is a
That's
mess.
Deborah.
In the black is Deborah.
In
That's
the
Candace
yellow is
over
Mia.
there. They talking to Candace.
There's
Is that Mia?
Mhm.
Where's Kiana? Is that Jacqueline I see?
Yep.
Everybody's
Look
back.
at
Look
Candace.
at Candace popping
Look at
off. Look at Candace popping off.
Child, Candace ain't start popping off until somebody held her. Candace, please sit down, girl.
ooh, ooh.
Tell her facts. Come on, Juice. Tell her facts.
Oh, that's Mia. She's trying to be a
That's Mia in the
mediator.
yellow. Mia's in the yellow telling her to calm down.
Right, Mia, with her cute shoes. She has some cute shoes on.
Oh, she done?
Oh, she
She has a
did.
cute fit on, guys. She looks
Another
nice.
intruder, Charisse.
Now this is
Oh, that's Cherise? Is that Cherise?
Yep, another
Oh,
intruder.
she's
What is
back
she
this
doing to
season?
herself?
Oh, wait then. Charisse look blood on the floor. There's blood.
That's a shame.
That's blood.
Please don't tell me there was actual broken glass this time.
Yep.
The ambulance out there.
Oh wow.
This is a mess.
They trying to be like loving hip hop or
Okay,
something.
let me stop that. Hopefully we can get away with showing that. Okay, so listen, Real Housewives of Potomac, brutal fight goes down in the club. Woman slammed to the ground. Okay, an absolute insane fight went down between friends of the Real Housewives of Potomac cast members, with fists flying and women getting yanked down by their hair in this crazy video. The exclusive video obtained by TMZ shows the cast breaking up a fight between friend of the show, Kiana Stewart, and another woman, Deborah Williams, while at Zebby's Garden in D.C. Thursday night for Ashley Darby's fashion line loss. Now, come on now. Ashley got a fashion line?
Ashley always had a fashion line.
Giselle. It's
Oh, they do?
Okay.
Ashley has a
according
yoga
to-
line. She
Hold
just
on
never
one
like.
second. Hold
She
on one
never.
Hold on 1 second, Shabbat.
Okay, sorry.
According to police report obtained by TMZ, Candace Dillon Bassett told police someone threw a drink at her. And Kiana says she was hit in the forehead with a glass before getting pulled down into a physical altercation. You can see Candace and Ashley clearly in the video trying to break up the messy brawl, which apparently resulted in some spilled blood. We're told cops responded, but no arrests were made. However, police are still investigating. Sources connected to the show tell us production had already wrapped when the fight went down, so the crew's cameras didn't capture the fight. As Julia Roberts would say, big mistake, huge mistake. Okay, if anybody watch Pretty Woman, you would know what that reference is to. Okay, big mistake that the cameras left. The cameras should never leave until everybody has left the building. So production, y'all messed up. Other people done got a footage to you having a good show. Now this is a whole hot mess. And I think these friends, here it is. So she's Trent, don't do that. Don't do that, Trent. Trent, don't start no mess on no Friday night now. She stayed calling the police. Somebody hurt me.
Who is he imitating? Is it Candace?
Wait, she is getting child Deborah, okay? Yes, come on now, people. So listen, don't forget, hit that like button. That's your ticket on the train. Go ahead, Roy. I'm gonna start with you.
I'm not surprised. Every season for the past 3 seasons, we have seen a fight on the Real Housewives of Potomac. So I mean, that's their trademark. That's what they do. And so, unlike, who was it? It was Mariah. She said, "This is Married to Medicine, my love." Where they're not giving Married to Medicine. They're giving the Zeus Network, Baddies, Bad Boys Club, Bad Girls Club. They giving it all, and it's just appalling that the friend of a doctor, Dr. Wendy Osefa, would come into the middle of a situation that you didn't have nothing to do with, because I read another article on page 6, and page 6 told us that Candace and Deborah, whatever her name is, was talking about one another that night, and they confronted each other. And then that is when Wendy Osefa's friend Kiana Stewart stepped in and decided to get all up in the bunch. Okay. So, had Kiana not stepped in and let Candace, hold her ground, whatever ground that is, this wouldn't have been a fight, because we all know Candace is not about that life. But, some people are looking for a moment. And to me, Kiana was looking for a moment, and she saw her moment. She stepped into it and she beat up Deborah, whatever her name is. I think it's just really sad, that we can't handle our situations without fighting, or people involve themselves in a situation that they don't have nothing to do with to start a fight. I'm calling for, Potomac to be canceled as well and move it to the Zeus Network.
Oh my God. Allie, thank you so much for the super chat. She giving us the facts here. She said, Deborah threw a drink at Candace. I got a problem with Deborah. Candace picks up a bottle. Sharice stops her. Wendy friend pushes Deborah's hand because the drink landed on her. This is a mess. Deborah throws the glass and hits friend, and then she gets her tail whooped. Thank y'all for the updates. Thank you for the super chat. Juice Radio, what are your thoughts?
First of all, I'm surprised to see Candace be the one to pick up the bottle when she just had that whole thing with Monique talking about the glass.
That's facts. That's facts. You're right.
Lawyers involved in everything. So I was really surprised to see Candace be the one pick up the bottle, but it gave me an insight of maybe there was more reason as to why Monique picked up that glass. But let me go on to the next thing.
Whoa.
So then, wasn't Wendy and Candace friends? Weren't they like friends? So why would Candace be getting into it with one of Wendy's friends? I'm not understanding that. Did something happen during the off season between those two that we don't know about? I was just surprised at that, all in all. And to see all of this mess, the only thing that I was really focused on after I saw all of this fighting going on was those cute shoes. Those cute shoes that Mia had on.
Come on now.
Them 6-inch beauties that she had on, and she was still walking around there cute when all that mess was going on. Listen, I don't know about this. I don't like the fighting, but if somebody is protecting themselves, that's a whole different thing. But why does it always seem that Candace is in the midst of this stuff when it's time to throw hands, when it's time to have these real big arguments? Why is Candace always in the midst of all this stuff? I mean, she went all the way over there to Taiwan, whatever, with Girls Trip or wherever she was at, and almost got into it again with Portia. So, Candace, is it you?
Oh my.
Thank you.
Woo. Y'all telling Candace to look in the mirror. Don't do that to Candace. Thank you, Juice. In my opinion, what are your thoughts?
I just want to know if she gonna have the triangle tissues this time.
Oh, I should have got my triangle.
Yes, opinion.
Let me tell you something, baby. I want to see Giselle say, "This is not how we act on this show." Because yes, everybody when Monique and her had this situation, this is not how we act on the show. And then they was trying to justify when Mia threw the salad on her. Yeah, I want to see what the reaction is gonna be for this fight because it seems like this is how y'all act.
Oh, you said this is who they are. Oh my.
The triangle tissues. I almost forgot.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, and Juice, I think she was getting into it with Deborah because you remember Deborah kept saying she wanted her husband last season.
But
Oh.
Page 6 reported something different, though. As Royer said, Page 6 reported that it was Deborah and Candace having a conversation, and Kiana is trying to, get a moment and got into the conversation as well.
Child. Well, maybe we'll find out. Maybe they're going to use part of that footage on Potomac, even though they missed out. Emmanuel, what are your thoughts?
Okay, first of all, can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Well, I gotta disagree with my big bro on this one. I am here for it. When we're watching the reality shows, I'm not watching a TED talk. Okay, I want to be entertained. So if that's what is if that's what they're doing, that's what they're doing. I'm just gonna watch because I'd rather take that than a boring season like the one in Atlanta. And I'm here for Candace and Wendy defending themselves after so long. The only way I can think that because y'all know how Giselle is, how bad of a person she is. I could probably see Giselle trying to spin this back to Wendy because it was Wendy's friend. So she'll probably say something about that and try to make a big deal about it because it was Wendy's friend who threw the first punch. I did see the video, but I'm here for it.
Well, it's a lot already. Thank you. Radiance, what are your thoughts?
Now, I don't know who won the fight, but what I do know is that Deborah is too big of a woman, too girthy, too strong of a woman to be out here losing fights in these streets. So I hope she won. put some of that girth to use.
Girth.
I cannot.
Chicken Monster need to learn how to fight.
Ooh, child, I cannot. Oh my God. It's Friday night, y'all. It's Friday night. Buckle your seatbelts. Oh,
Buckle up.
And I mean, I don't watch the show, but I thought Potomac was supposed to be the classy version of Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't giving class. This is getting regular Atlanta ratchet ghetto. So we can just change the name. We can just be like Roa Part 2 because that's what it sounds like to me.
Mm-hmm.
And
I can't.
The friends fighting, it sounds a little staged to me because the fight popped off right after all the camera crew left. And it's not the actual cast members fighting, it's the friends of. So they're fighting for a moment. They want to go from part-time to full-time. So I guess they want that, they want to secure the bag.
They want to secure the bag. And you know what? Security, the Potomac security was probably gone too. But it looked like a whole bunch of other people tried to step in. They wasn't quick with it though, because you see people already landed on the floor. This thing was a hot mess. Sebastian, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are this. I'm in between Emmanuel and Royer on this.
Mm-hmm.
Royer is saying how this is violent. This is just equating to Zeus and things like this. But Emmanuel is right. We do need entertainment. But one thing I'm going to have to be honest about is Potomac started becoming ghetto on season 3. Because at season 1, they were all classy and everything, and it was all about etiquette. Then Monique came on season 2, and it was about, I have 4 homes, I'm established and everything like that. You just live off of your husband, to Giselle. And then season 3, Candace Dillard Bassett showed up. And Candace got into it a little, not physically, but with words with Ashley, who brought her on the show. Season 4, she got into it with Monique when Monique was pregnant. and at that little farmhouse situation. Season 5, Candace gets dragged by Monique at that little wine event thing. Season 6, she threw little lettuce
Actually going
things.
through all the seasons.
Yes, we got to go through it because people need to realize that Candace can be an issue as well because a lot of people sympathize with her.
Leave Candace alone.
Season 6, she threw 2 lettuce leaves at Mia, and Mia took a whole pile bunch and threw it back at her. Season 7 was the one season where Candace did not provoke, and I am so happy. That was the last season she did not provoke anything. But Candace has been a provocateur and a provoker. I don't know why I said it the first way.
Provocateur.
There you go.
She has provoked a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I hope in this situation she was not the provocateur. I really hope so. But one thing I am going to say is Emmanuel is kind of right. We do need entertainment. But it's always the younger ones on this show that have to be the ghetto hood rats ones. It's always the younger ones. As much as Giselle and Karen get mad at each other and all, they never go to hands. They never go to certain things.
Right.
Mhm.
They never go to certain limits. But it's always the younger ones. It's always the ones in the 30s that always have to be the ghetto ratchet ones on this show.
Well, Sebastian, even though you went through this.
Hold on, because I got to get to these other people. But Trent, thank you for your super chat. Seasons 1 and 2, Ashley was constantly about to get dragged by somebody long before Candace. Thank you, Trent.
Victoria reminded me about something.
Ashton was here on memory lane, and that didn't pop in his head. So Trent, I appreciate you. Thank you for that. Nikki, what are your thoughts?
I don't know. I feel like it's so unfortunate because I don't know. I just it's hard for me because I'm just like, a lot of people have said already, you know, that Potomac came on the scene and tried to act like they were such, you know, they were had so much grace and tact, and we're above it, and you know, we're in DC and all this kind of stuff, and it's just kind of like they on a race seemingly to the bottom of the blackest hood rat family they can find. Like it's just, I don't get it. I don't understand why. If you have so much grace and tact, you should be able to fight with your words. I do believe that. Like, as much as I don't like Kenya, she is a good person to fight with her words. She doesn't need to put her hands on anybody. You can cut people real deep and never touch them, you know? So I'm just like, can y'all just do that? Because, like, at the end of the day, the people on this show should not be viewed, or on TV at all, viewed as, like, a role model. But I'm just like, at some point, you're going to have children, or you already have children, or your parents are watching this. I just would be embarrassed. You know what I mean? That you can't have an ounce of self-control. And I do think that there are entertaining shows out there, like the family, what was it? The Braxton Family Values. I felt like they went on for 5 or 6 seasons or whatever it was. They never physically, that I could recall, had to fight each other. And I get it's different because they're family or whatever. But I just feel like they always brought entertainment. Tamar is crazy. And, you know, they just gave a lot of entertainment without having to belittle themselves, or, you know, I wish they could find a different method. But I feel like part of the reason is because you do have so much ratchet TV on VH1 and other channels that it's like they feel like they have to in order to keep the Bravo check. That's what I think.
Allie, thank you so much for the super chat. She said the blogs were wrong. Before the video, the initial stories had Deborah winning the fight. I think Ashley was the source of the info and is in full PR mode because she embarrassed her friend yet again. Did she not? But you know what? That's what Deborah get, because you keep falling for the okie doke because you want this Potomac check. Mm-hmm. And you going about it the wrong way. And I think when you come on reality TV, you literally, your first impression is what's going to lead you all the way down to the end of your role with the reality TV. Once you come on and you turn the people off, it's a hard road back. Mm-hmm. Ask Monique Samuels. Mm-hmm. Okay, there's a lot of people. Ask Wendy. She fighting that road back to the people trying to like her. Right. So you got to get that first impression right. And Deborah, nobody liked you when you first came on. They did, and I'm just telling you the truth. They didn't. So where am I at? Dadon, what are your thoughts?
Ashley walked so Candace could run. This has now become a show of hood rats.
Amen.
Check out my emoji down there.
Oh my god.
Um, I just think that, well, according to some reports that I've heard, this was an event because Ashley and Giselle have a clothing line together.
I heard about that.
And Deborah wasn't even invited to the event. She just showed up.
So she fighting her way in to get this check. Messy.
So this is about getting camera time, trying to get scenes. You already came on the show last year and exposed yourself about, she's a complete liar.
That part.
So who's to say she didn't come here starting stuff? We only got a glimpse of it. We don't know what the argument was about, or what happened, but we do have history of her being a liar.
That's right.
I don't have a problem with Candace at all because, if you're going to Joan, use your mouth. Ain't nobody say you got to use your fist.
Right.
And Giselle and Karen dropped way below what Candace have said.
That's facts. That's
so,
facts.
We can't hold Candace to a standard that the two queens of the show are not upholding themselves.
Well, you better come through on a Friday night. All right.
Two queens. Giselle's not a queen.
No, he talking. Listen up, Sebastian.
And this woman that Wendy has brought on the show as a friend of has grown close with Candace over the past few months of filming. And when this woman came in, when Deborah came in and started this argument again, they got upset. Candace, ra-ta-ta-ta-ta, you're not going to start this again. These lies in your smear campaign because you got found out last season with the cameras. So you show up at an event that you weren't invited to. You try to go off, and Ashley probably may have put a battery in her back when she showed up, or Giselle. It's something that's going to happen. I just want to see it play out. Well, apparently the cameras were down during the fight, and they picked the cameras back up post-fight.
Oh, okay. So they were still there.
Yeah.
Where she was talking to when it was Mia, Candace, and Sheree, whatever her name is.
You can see the
camera guy standing right there, and the microphone still so they back up. They had to have still been there.
Right, and even when in that scene where you see Mia, and a few other people, when Mia came up to her to talk to Deborah put her finger in Mia's face.
Yeah, she did.
So she was on one.
Yeah, she's on one all the time. She want this Potomac money, but it's too late, boo. You already messed up. We found you in a straight lie, and the lie was horrible. It's always horrible when you want to accuse a husband of doing something that he didn't do. You got to know how to play the game. Now, one thing I will say about Peter Thomas did an interview with Carlos King, and he said that Kenya Moore knows how to play the reality TV game. And you know what? It had to marinate in me a little bit. And he's right. She does. You got to know how to play the game. You got to push the button, but you can't push the button too far that it's going to totally rip down and destroy the person's reputation. Deborah was saying that, Chris was, sneaky and messy. That's a bad narrative to put on a man. Okay. Then she not only said it about Chris, she said it about Eddie.
Yup.
So she came off too strong because as she told her, girl, this how much I'm making over there at Potomac. Now you going to slide in. You're going to first come over to my house and the kids going to play together. And we going to get you more scenes. And she did too much too soon, too fast. We could write a book on how to become a reality TV star and win. Because these dummies don't know. Get this 101, okay?
Diva,
don't do too much. Yes.
Deborah is the reason why we cannot believe all women.
Oh, boy.
I'm not Sebastian.
That's the reason why.
Sebastian, you trying to shake my train. I'm not
Don't do it.
Hold on one second. Brandon, thank you so much for the super chat. Love your show, Diva. Ticket boy. Candace has a history of swinging weapons. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. You trying to shake
Can
the
I respond to this, Diva?
Hey, hold
Can I
on one
respond
second.
to
All the way from a butter knife. A broken glass to a head of lettuce. Y'all messy. Y'all messy.
Can I respond?
But thank you for the super chat. Yes, you can. Go ahead.
When you're talking about this butter knife that she swung at Ashley, if it was me, you're lucky I didn't pick something else up in my house after you've come back in my house 3 times when I told you to leave. So at that point in time, you're trespassing, and a knife is the least. A butter knife is the least of what I could grab.
Oh my. Ooh, when you trespassing. All right.
When you trespassing, and I told you to leave not once, not twice, but 3 times.
Well, you know what? You bring up a point there. Boom. Denzel, what are your thoughts on this fight?
It was a hot mess.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's her name? Deborah. What's her name?
Deborah.
Deborah, whatever her name is. She threw a drink at Candace, right? Allegedly.
Uh-huh.
Well,
she showed up uninvited.
Okay? You don't do that.
She already mad apparently because she wants to be on the show and she's not being invited and she wasn't there, but she knew that this situation was happening. So that's so it's a lot going on that we have to break down here. But
right.
She wasn't invited, so she's mad. She desperately wants to be on Potomac. Yeah, hashtag desperation. Come on, Nubian. She desperately wants to be on Potomac, and she's not going to get in. But see, Ashley is dumb. You told your girl to go about it the wrong way. You should have figured that thing out a little smarter. Mm-hmm. You can't come in scenes 1 through 5 and start a mess and popping off and telling lies. That's not the way to get yourself in the door.
Hey, Diva, remember they were supposed to be the pretty young things? They should have been the pretty dumb things.
That part. Go ahead, Denzel. Did you finish?
Oh, no. And I think, did y'all see the lights in the, were they in the club?
They was in the club.
Did you see the lights? Because I think they used the lights for for filming, right?
Well, here's the thing, Denzel. Let me tell you this. See, together, Ashley and Giselle seem to be a disaster. Because why is your clothing launch happening in the club anyway?
Low budget.
That could have been an after party. We don't know.
Well, maybe, yeah.
We see it play out.
I don't think it was an after party.
And also, I think these women were intoxicated too.
Well, they always like to have the alcohol around the ladies. I mean, all the Bravo shows do because they know that's how they're going to get these messy scenes, right? When the people is drunk. But let me just say this. When you want to do your clothing launch, you find a facility, you have some type of runway, and you don't have the hard liquor there. You have some champagne or a signature drink. Mm-hmm. You have the people sitting down, shutting up, and you have security. So Deborah would have never been able to get in. So
at least Sheree got that part right.
That part.
Can I say something else, Steve?
Yes, you can. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So you don't throw a drink at somebody, and you know what? And then you're gonna show up uninvited. You don't do that. And I don't know. Yeah, she's a liar. She's a liar, and I think that Sesame Street character she's trying so hard to get that champagne glass. She wanted so bad, don't she? Well, she ain't gonna get it.
She's not going to get it. Tacky all the way around. All right, guys. So that's the fight.
Potomac has been filming for a while, though. It's been a long months. Like Potomac has been filming ever since the reunion after it aired.
They wrap tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last day.
Oh, really?
And they got old with a situation on the last day, didn't they? Though, but they probably tape a little bit more just because of that situation.
I hope they did.
They picked back up the cameras for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills so they can capture some more moments with Kyle and Mauricio. They
exactly.
pick up the cameras now. They pick them cameras back up, and it's smart if you're doing reality TV. Now let's move to the next stop. Garcelle Beauvais from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Garcelle was on Watch What Happened Live with Andy, and she says she know who did it. She know who sent the bots after her son, but she says she will never tell, right? But then she had a Freudian slip and she said Diana's name. Well, Diana was pissed about it. Diana had a little response to it. She showed all the proof on how she had a lawyer and she was trying to help solve this situation. Okay, so hold on one second. Let's share this screen here. Let me see. Okay, Diana she's in her feelings about this. So hold on, I'm gonna play this for y'all. And let me share another screen. Hold on one second. Honey, whew.
Juicy.
Juicy.
This tea is popping hot.
Okay.
Go get my pearls so I can clutch them.
Clutching your pearls.
Let me see one I want to show. I think, is this the one I want to show? Let me see. This might not be the one because I want to show because what's the name responded? Let me see. So, but anyway, let me go back. So Garcelle, she also said she had in that same scene with Andy. She also said that she had suspicions over Kyle, Richard, and Mauricio's marriage breaking up. Okay, when the news broke that Kyle, Richard, and Mauricio were having marriage troubles, the resounding response was one of confusion. Initial reports claimed the two were separating or divorcing, but Kyle and Mauricio quickly made it clear that the latter, at least, wasn't the case. And yet, reports persist that the split is indeed happening or that the marriage is on the rocks. Pair the confusion with the fact that the Housewives fans were already following another divorce, and the whole ordeal felt odd. Immediately, suspicion arose that the drama was all a ploy for a potential Real Housewives of Beverly Hills storyline. But with a story as big as this one, whether it's true or not, everyone's going to get their 2 cents on it. Most of all the other Real Housewives of Beverly Hills stars, and this time it was Garcelle Beauvais speaking to Andy Cohen on Watch What Happens Live. In the Watch What Happens Live again, Andy asked Garcelle questions that she could only answer with the name of a fellow housewife of Beverly Hills. When asked who made the group laugh the most, Garcelle said Kyle is funny and she's not working out. She joked. There were no more split. There's no more splits. That's where the game ended. But the conversation turned to Kyle. Andy asked if her marriage had been a hot topic for the Housewives this season. Yes, for sure, Garcelle said immediately. She said her and Sutton was suspicious, and she admitted that she spoke to Kyle, but Kyle just said she was doing okay. Now, I want to go back. I have to go back because Diana's response to Garcelle pretty much was, she showed, and I'm not going to read the whole thing. Let me just go back to her, Diana's Instagram. And so this on the side here, and I will put it in the chat. Pretty much Diana showed her letter that her lawyer sent to Garcelle's lawyer saying that we want to continue this investigation, but Garcelle would need to join in on the fight. And if they wanted to collaborate, is because Garcelle pretty much said that, no, she hasn't heard from Diana. And Diana said that in April of 2023, yes, Garcelle did hear from me because my lawyer spoke to her lawyer. Now, listen, it's a hot mess, but we're going to talk about this, okay? So, guys, I'm going to start at the bottom right now. But hold on one second. Thank you so much for the super chat, 5 heartbeats line. You want my spot, Flash Debbie? You ain't going to get it because you ain't got it, okay? You can't get my spot. Thank you so much for the super chat. I truly appreciate it. All right. So, Denzel, what are your thoughts on this whole Garcelle thing and the bots and her saying, listen, I know who did it, but I'm going to just keep it to myself?
Yeah, you know what? I love Garcelle. She's a icon and a legend, and she's carrying the show. The other women that is on the show, they gutter low. Mm-hmm. And the only ones that I like is Garcelle and Sutton. I'm glad that she said something about it. I'm glad she said something about it. And it's crazy. It's crazy. And and the thing is, I'm gonna tell you something. They're gonna get their karma because you don't do stuff like that. You know, God don't like ugly. So yeah, we know who it is. We
Mhm.
all know who it is. And
Yep,
they and you know, and I'm glad they not on the show no more.
that part. Leave the kids out of it. Emmanuel, what are your thoughts?
Let me say this. Garcelle coming to Bravo was one of the best things that could have ever happened to Bravo. I love Garcelle. She's one of the few housewives that I actually love. Like, she is classy, she is royalty, she's amazing. And
Mhm.
I am so glad that Diana joined the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, because now we know that she's a filthy, nasty, vindictive, no good liar. And let's not forget, it wasn't just her. It probably, let me say probably, it probably was also Lisa Rinna and Erica, who all three of them thought of this plan, and Diana probably set it into motion. And I remember Diana said she was going to investigate. How are you going to investigate yourself? Also, let's not forget there was a ooh, there was a really famous rapper who also came after Garcelle and her kid, and I'll never forget that.
Mm,
Remember who?
no.
Her name started with
Nikki.
an N.
Nicki Minaj.
Yes.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't be surprised if she has something to do with it too.
Mm,
I believe that.
Yep.
okay, I forgot about that. Thank you, Emmanuel. Nikki, what are your thoughts?
Good point, Emmanuel. So I have two things. One, I think I love Garcelle as well. She's gorgeous, and you can't really get ugly nowhere on her. I think she's gorgeous, but I would love it if she would just hire Dorit to be her stylist, because I think she would just be flawless if she would do that. Um, Even though I'm team marriage, I on some level, I guess I could appreciate what Kyle brings to the story, but I would say the past last maybe 6 seasons or so, I cannot with Kyle. I just feel like she's just as fake as they come, and I just want her. This is my assignment for Kyle if she's listening, because I know she's probably watching Diva's show. I just really want her to keep the same exact energy she had at that Thanksgiving dinner, where she kept telling Sutton over and over, repeatedly, be honest. We just want you to be honest. I just want you to be honest. And the same thing that she did to, who was it? Denise Richards.
Mm,
Remember, she's just like, just be honest, Denise. Everyone knows that you did it. Just be honest. I just pray, and I know this is terrible, so God forgive me, but I really want someone to really like give her exactly what she gives everybody else, because she's constantly telling everyone to be honest, be honest, just be authentic. And I don't believe for a second Kyle is going to be honest or authentic regarding her marriage. I think that her marriage to him and her children are like Kyle's everything. And I respect that. I respect that. But it's just like, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And I just pray that someone just calls her on her stuff so she could truly feel what it's like to have someone just constantly go at you when you've said, we're good, I didn't do this. And people should just be able to believe you. And even if they don't believe you, just let these people live. You know what I mean? Who wants to be dragged by the people that they're working with every day? So I just hope she gets what she gave. That's it.
You know what's funny, Nikki? This is history right here. Because the first time ever, I do agree with you.
I
She,
need you to stop, Diva. Already shaking the thing early, sis.
I do
Like,
agree with you, because here's the thing. She did say that to Sutton at that table.
mhm,
She always is pressuring people to be authentic and honest. And
yeah.
I really think Mauricio, when you think back and look back, they've been in trouble, right? Their marriage been a hot mess.
You think so?
Oh yeah. When you look
Mm,
back, when I thought back over last season, he was there, but he really wasn't there.
mm.
He really wasn't present like that. Mm-mm. When I'm thinking back to when they went to the cowboy hat store, and she was so
Oh, in
upset and
Aspen.
crying, and he wasn't really he was saying more about what was going on, in a sense of, with Dorit, like, why are y'all why are you so
Hmm.
upset? Why are y'all fighting? I don't want to see y'all fighting, versus being more concerned about his wife.
I agree.
And then to be honest with you, there was always rumors about him having extramarital affairs. Or
I
what?
always would hear that, but I just, for whatever reason, always. I know people, men, all they need is an opportunity, and I think when you have wealth, which he appears to have,
Uh,
and a whole bunch of opportunity, and I think when you get on TV, the people just gonna come in your DMs just because social media is out there. I'm sure they're sending him all kind of naked, whatever. I don't know if we can say that, but so it's like even if he was the best husband, at some point he's a man at the end of the day. So I could see how at some point, because people also say he does the ooh wee or the weed or something. I don't know, or drinks a lot. I'm not sure. So it's like even if he was the best husband at some point, you can get worn down. And so I do think that at some point lately, maybe in the last 2 years, something has happened. I hate it for her because no woman wants that. But I
right.
do think at this
I
point,
do
something
hate it
probably
for
has
her
happened.
too. But and especially because they was married so long.
Mhm.
I think that what you're saying is correct. And I think even though it's a double-edged sword, right? Because their social media is how they promote themselves, and they should be able to promote themselves. But you are absolutely correct. I'm sure the woman flood all of these men's DMs. But you know what? You can shut the DMs off because really, if a person who wants to work with you via advertisement or something like that, they'll be able to get in touch with you because you can put in your description box like for real inquiries, email me or do this or whatever the case may be, and have it be your manager and not yourself. So yes, I
Hey,
100%
Diva.
think that every man that comes into this social media platform, and listen, I'm sure some men come into females DMs too because they don't care. But because we're dealing in a world where nobody cares anymore. Everybody is for self. They have no respect for marriage. They have no respect for relationships. They just have no freaking respect. And
Nah.
now these people have no problem, men included, showing private pictures of their private areas, sending them. I don't get what the fascination is with that. And females have no problem sending pictures of themselves either. And then you don't know sometimes until you open the DM, like, oh my God, that's what it is. But I do agree with you, and this is a rare moment. But Sebastian, what are your
I want to
thoughts?
say this. Um,
I cannot.
I remember someone said I'm Gen X. Can someone please explain to me what is a bot? Okay, I'll do that real quickly. A bot is this. It's bots. It's multiple. So people tend to pay these foreign social media marketing firms abroad money so they can be inflated views, likes, and etc., and also comments so they can have high engagements on social media. You can use them for positive things and you can use them for bad things. And in this case, it was bad things. They were throwing racist things at Garcelle's son, saying things like, "You're lucky you're half white because my knee would be on your neck," um, and that's how it went. So basically, I want to say this: I love Garcelle. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows I love Garcelle. I've defended Garcelle on this platform when some have dragged her to the deepest parts of hell. When did this happen? Oh. I have defended Garcelle so much
Yes, go
on this
ahead.
platform. Gabor has brought Garcelle to the deepest part of hell. And I defended that woman still. Garcelle is great. I love her. I love Garcelle. She is so great. She's so beautiful too. And I hope this new season, she's gonna have leverage on these women. She's gonna have fire on these women. She can. You never know. She probably could say something about these the bot incident again on this season. Maybe it'll slip out. You never know. You never know. Um. Also, Diana, come on, Diana. The question was, has Diana reached out to you? Okay. It was not. Has Diana's attorneys reached out to your attorneys? It was, has Diana reached out to you basically as a former co-worker, former colleague on the show, and somewhat of an acquaintance. You did not have the moral decency to call this woman after her child had to receive attacks on social media And in some of those attacks, your name were also infiltrated on as well, where they literally had said, tell your mother to keep Diana's name out her mouth.
Thank you.
Where is your Christian self, Diana? You say you are a Christian Eastern European woman. Where is it? You did not have the moral decency to contact this woman. Where is it? I am done with her. She is not relevant anymore.
Mhm.
She is not on anyone's show. She quote unquote does charitable needs, but we never heard about him ever since she got onto this show. We would have been heard about Diana Jenkins' philanthropic ventures prior to this show if she was that great a philanthropist. I'm tired of Diana. Diana could just shut up and be irrelevant as she was prior to being on this show. Bye.
Sebastian, thank you. Leo, thank you for the super chat. Hey, Diva. And Mauricio is fine. Mauricio is a good looking man, okay? He is finer than a frog's hair. Hey, chat.
Diva,
right? Yes.
Did you see who commented under Diana's Instagram?
No, who did?
The unemployed lady, Lisa Renna.
Oh, Lisa Renna, I did see that.
Oh, God.
I did see that.
Yeah.
Radiance, what are your thoughts?
You can skip me, Diva.
No problem. Dadon, what are your thoughts?
I'm glad that Giselle is finally calling the thing a thing. You need to do that. It's time out for, I'm not gonna say this, I'm not gonna say that, because they do.
Right.
They make her look bad every time.
Yep.
Even if it's not true, they still make her look bad for that moment. So start calling the thing a thing. If that's who you feel that done it, that's done it. I mean, that's who majority of the audience feel did it.
Right.
So call a thing a thing. And Mauricio, or whatever his name, he's out here being an Instagram thought already, posting pictures. Talking about he meant to post it a few months ago. No, you posted that because you in headlines and you trying to get another woman. He said he lost weight. I just went to his Instagram page.
He for the streets. And it's sad. It's sad. I feel for Kyle because this is all she known all her life. And I do believe, regardless of liking her or not.
Diva, what did you just say?
No, listen, I feel bad. I do feel bad for her because you know what? She loved being a mom. She loved being a housewife. And she loved her husband. Right. And I think that unfortunately, and then when you're talking that amount of years, I'm not saying you can't recover from it, but recovery is not going to be that easy because this is all you know for a major.
But Kyle is not an innocent woman. Did you know that Kyle got Mauricio when she was engaged to an NBC News reporter and she cheated on him with Mauricio?
Well, listen.
Allegedly.
Yeah, listen.
Well, she said it on Watch What Happens
No,
Live.
that wasn't alleged.
Allegedly.
She said it. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, you listen.
She said she turned her engagement ring around. She sure did.
Yes, yeah. Well, you know what though? I still feel for her. Okay.
I thought you don't have a heart for side pieces. I thought you don't have a heart for cheaters.
I do not. But it's 30 years later, Sebastian, and I feel for her. Hit that like button, everybody. In my opinion, it's shifted. Did you go already?
No, I didn't go.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, nobody studying Dirty Diana. Okay, the only thing she did was made a book of people laying on their back and spreading it.
Let's not do that on here because Diana, so yep, just go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't want her striking your channel like she didn't stroke everybody else. And as far as Mauricio and Kyle, I hate getting into people marriages. I feel like if they saying that they're not, separating, I'm gonna take them at face value because people marriages is people marriages. Everybody goes through ups and downs in their marriages. Doesn't mean they separating just because they done had a spat or they not doing well. I just think Beverly Hills needs a whole revamp.
All right, Juice, your thoughts?
Garcelle saying that she would never say who she feels did this is kind of like, I'm questioning that as to why.
Right.
Why would you not want to reveal who you think did this? I'm I'm not sure of that. I don't know if she had a conversation with her attorneys about not disclosing, and then, oops, I'm sorry I said her name, because maybe she really wanted to say her name. But I don't understand a victim not wanting to say the name of the person that allegedly hurt them.
Right. Come on now. Yeah.
I'm not understanding that. That to me is you are protecting the person who did the alleged crime. I don't understand it, but I'm glad the name has come out. Now, for Garcelle to say that she, hold on, I'm sorry, I'm getting my thoughts with this Diana. For Garcelle to again be like, she didn't want to say what Diana did. It didn't, I don't know. Diana, I think, why is she fighting so hard to say she did not do something? And as much money as she has and that she alleges that she's paying for these lawyers, they haven't found out anything yet.
She wrote in that long thing that pretty much they had to at some point put the investigation back into Garcelle's hands. So Diana was the one trying to investigate it, but she was not the one that it happened to. So they needed Garcelle to join in on the search. And that's what Diana's lawyer sent a letter to Garcelle's lawyer to pretty much say, like, if we got to continue this because we hit a roadblock, we would need you to join in on the suit to have more leverage. You know what I'm trying to say? To dig into some things because it's your son, not Diana's son. So we would need your help in the situation. And I think I'll take Diana as a person because she did strike down a lot of YouTube channels, right? I take Diana as the type of person that you know, some people, I mean, nobody wants their reputation to be mud in the streets. The difference with her is she has the money and the resources and the finances to clean up whatever mud is out there on her. So even if it was already said, if somebody was to try to go Google it now, they'll never find it because she got it all scrubbed. So I think that's her big reason for wanting to like let it be known that she really dug deep into this thing, because she's 10 toes down that she had nothing to do with it. But go ahead, Juice.
Well, I don't know. I'm just kind of questioning that whole thing. To me, it sounds like she's fighting so hard to prove that she herself is innocent, and Garcelle is like, I kind of know you did it, but I don't want to say you did it. And I'm kind of like, why are you at this point, Garcelle? Has someone said something? Did something happen? I don't know. But I just don't understand that whole thing. Cal and Mauricio, I've been hearing about Cal and Mauricio, these things and all this stuff, and they even bringing up that old lady that talking about she was a psychic, whatever. I doubt that anyway. But anyway, I kind of think that Mauricio and Cal have been through so much in their marriage. And if you really watch the show, The Housewives of Beverly Hills, when Mauricio was there, Mauricio didn't really feel to me that he was really happy in the marriage. And I'm going to tell you why. Because when there was a lot of scenes, he would do something like they went on trip and they were smoking their lead weed or whatever, and they were having a good time and drink. And Cal, when she would speak to him, it's almost like belittling to him, making him feel belittled and stuff like that. So I think that if I saw that on the screen when the cameras were rolling, then you could just imagine what goes on in the house when the cameras are not rolling. So maybe Mauricio is not feeling the security of a loving relationship, and maybe it's gotten to the point where he's looking for that attention, allegedly, and he's just probably ready to find it. Will they get through this? They probably will. They've been in Hollywood and been in this marriage for a long time. But what I would suggest that they do as a couple is, I would pray and hope that Kyle would sit down and get some counseling and learn what her husband's needs are. And then also for Mauricio to do the same thing and get to a better understanding. He is a cute guy. However, he's a married guy. And they need to straighten that out before something else does happen. I know I heard about the allegations of affairs, but until I see one that's true, it's just allegations to me. But I hope they work that whole thing out, and Garcelle and her son would get all this stuff taken care of.
Yeah, yeah. Her older son is in the streets being messy, but at least he's taking care of his baby. That's all I gotta say with that. We could deal with that another day. But
Story.
yeah, listen, Roy, what are your thoughts?
I I just I really, really am struggling with why Garcelle was struggling with putting out the truth. If you want the truth to be known and if you want something done about it, it's your responsibility, especially as a parent, it's your responsibility to stand up and make sure that truth is known. And for her not to immediately, stand up to make that truth be known, if she really wanted that, what's the word I'm looking for? If she really wants to be vindicated and wanted her son to be vindicated, it's your responsibility to stand up and tell the truth. It did not slip out by accident. Nothing happens by happenstance. It was meant to come out. And I just wish that she would have been more forward with it. Not sure about Kyle and Mauricio's situation, so I am praying and wishing for the best for them. Marriage is hard. It's difficult, So, hope the best for them. But Garcelle, do better. Stand up for your babies. Don't let these people walk all over them. They already going to have enough struggles in the world because they are biracial, so show them how to stand up for themselves now so that, when it's real time to stand up, they can stand.
Thank you, Roy. I like that. I like that information. So our last story that we're going to close out with, I don't know if y'all remember if y'all used to watch the judge shows on TV. Judge Hatchett had a show, and her son. So her son didn't have a show, but she has a son, and her son's wife actually died giving birth to their second child. And so I'm going to talk about this story, but I want y'all to just think about Love and Marriage Huntsville and Courtney, and why Courtney is so afraid for Stormy to have another baby, because childbirth, you can lose your life for real. So his wife had the first baby and had to have a C-section. So they scheduled a C-section for the wife to have the second baby. Well, she had a C-section, and all night, because she had a catheter in her and in the bag, they kept seeing frank blood. It was like red blood in the bag. And the husband and the family kept saying, something is not right. Look at the bag. It's not urine, it's looking red. Well, they saying they was ignored. And as a result of them being ignored, the wife lost her life. Now I'm going to share this screen and we're going to talk about this really quickly. Let me just go here, because he won a suit. So Cedars-Sinai Medical Center is facing federal probe over treatment of Black mothers. Okay.
Wow.
The federal government has launched a civil rights investigation into how Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles treats Black women who give birth at the hospital. A spokesperson for the Department of Health and Human Services confirmed to ABC News. Maternal health is a priority for the Biden-Harris administration, and one in which the HHS Office for Civil Rights is working on around the country to ensure equality, equity and equality in healthcare. The HHS spokesperson told ABC News in a statement on Wednesday, to protect the integrity of this ongoing investigation, we have no further comment. Asked about the probe, as Cedars-Sinai spokesperson told ABC News in a statement on Tuesday that the medical center is concerned about the racial disparities in maternal care and is working to address the issues. So Cedars-Sinai clinicians, leaders, and researchers have long been concerned with the national disparities in Black maternal health. And we are proud of the work we have done and continue to do to address these issues in Los Angeles, as well as the state and national levels, the spokesperson said. The spokesperson also said the medical center has made ongoing efforts to address the issue, including distributing more than $2.2 million in grants to nonprofits addressing racial disparities in maternal care. holding annual training in unconscious bias, conducting research to identify racial disparities, and partnering with organizations and Black leaders to find solutions.
Right.
Okay, so they had a probe because this is the story I really want to get down to. The medical center is working with the California Maternal Quality Care Collaborative to developing intimate, standardized treatment protocols for the most common causes of maternal morbidity or mortality, the spokesperson said. The federal probe into Cedars-Sinai's treatment of Black mothers come over 7 years after the April 2016 death of Kyra Dixon Johnson, who died after she suffered internal bleeding following a cesarean section. The baby, Langston Johnson, survived. Okay, so the baby survived. The death of Kiara Dixon Johnson sparked a national conversation about the racial disparities in Black maternal care. Charles Johnson, Kiara Johnson's husband, told ABC News in a phone interview on Wednesday that the federal probe has been an extremely long time coming. I'm extremely proud that HHS is going forward with this investigation, that they are taking it seriously, and that this has been, I think, extremely long time coming, Johnson said. The investigation is a very important step toward accountability, transparency, and ultimately an important step in making sure that families from all walks of life receive the safe, dignified, respectful care that they deserve, not only in maternal health, but in healthcare as a whole. After his wife's death, Johnson worked with former Rep. Jamie on legislation to prevent maternal deaths. It was signed into law in 2018 by the then President Donald Trump. So look, he did something good there, okay? Johnson shared his family story with ABC News in 2019. He said that after seeing blood in his wife's catheter, after she delivered their second son, he pleaded with medical staff to provide her care, but his pleas were ignored for hours. She was taken into a procedure room 10 hours later and died of internal bleeding. Johnson filed a medical malpractice lawsuit in March 2017 and a civil suit against the medical center in May 2022, alleging that racism played a role in the treatment that his wife received at Cedars-Sinai. Both lawsuits have since been resolved, Johnson said, but the terms were not shared publicly. Plaintiffs named in the 2017 lawsuit denied wrongdoing per court documents, okay? So, in 2017, Johnson founded For Kiara, For Moms, a nonprofit dedicated to advocating for legislation and resources to address, this whole situation. Now, the thing is, I'm praying for him because he said that he still kind of parents with his wife that is no longer here. He has pictures of her all around the house, and now he's like a single dad.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. This story is very deep. It's a lot, but I think it's a conversation we need to have because he literally kept telling them, and so did his mom, Judge Hassett, that there is blood in the bag. Okay, it wasn't just red tinge. It looked like literal blood in the bag. Another representative that was in the operating room, when they finally took the wife to the operating room, she said it looked like a crime scene. It looked like a crime scene because when they opened her up, like blood was everywhere because she was literally bleeding internally for hours. They even said, they kept telling them, my wife doesn't seem right. She's speaking to me. She's not really speaking to me. And she seems like she's getting worse and worse. It wasn't until the night shift came on and somebody finally got her down to ultrasound and then they took her right into the OR, but it was too late. Come on, Lizzie, total neglect. So, and she had to have it. A lot of times they tell you once you have a C-section, they normally tell you every baby after that, for whatever reason, has to be a C-section or most likely will be a C-section. So I'll start at the top here, Royer. What are your thoughts? Okay, come back to you. Yep, no problem. Juice, what are your thoughts?
My first thought, Diva, when you started reading this story, to hear that our Black women are suffering and losing their lives while doing childbirth, which should be one of the happiest times of any family's life, my first thought was we need more Black doctors and nurses. And the reason why I say that is because if we could get our people to start doing more in these areas, then we could probably feel a lot more protected when we go to these hospital facilities. I don't know if the doctors in this case were Black or if they were white. I don't know. But my very first thought when you started reading this was, we need to be the ones that are in some of these operating and delivery rooms. We need to be the lead in these rooms. So I would pray and hope that our children or our youngsters or anyone would start seeing some of these stories like this and say, listen, I know social media says I could be a rapper, I could be a ball player, I could be this or that or whatever, and then have a change of heart and say, listen, let me do something like this. We have enough rappers, we have enough ball players. We need more people in fields like this. We need more lawyers. We need more people in higher positions in this world. Because in order for us as a Black culture to say they're not treating my Black people right, we need to be the Black people that are treating our Black people. So that's just my first, off the head thought. The other thing I would say is I would love for these hospitals to start contributing financially to the better education of people in medicine and in these areas. Instead of having to pay out all these lawsuits for all these lives that are being lost, why don't you do advance payment and pay for education, pay for the teaching, pay for the college, pay for some of these tuitions so that these kids can get the education so that they can't become these doctors and lawyers. Pay for some of that if you're going to spend the money anyway, because y'all paying out big money on these lawsuits and you're losing lives. So why not take that money and contribute it to advanced care of making sure that people who want to be in the medical field are getting the proper treatment, the proper training, and make sure that the staff that you have the proper mindset and tools to do what they need to do. It's sad because to some people, you look at the story and you'd be like, oh, well, that's just another person that lost their life. It's not me. But as a Black culture, I look at it as that's my sister that went down. That's my sister that's not coming back. That's the way, that's somebody's relative. So it shouldn't just bounce off and you just be like, oh, well, that. No. So now proactive, what do we do going forward? We can sit here and shift the blame to these doctors, shift the blame to the nurse, shift the blame to the hospital. What do we do going forward? And my whole thing is right now, my mind is going, we need more education, teaching these kids. Yeah, you could be a rapper if you want to, but how about save a life? How about become a doctor? How about become a lawyer? There's people out here that need this legal advice, this legal help. You want to sit here and say the white man not doing this and the white man not doing that. Well, what's the Black man doing to educate us so that we can get our kids to become those leaders that the people are fearful of so they will not want to make a mistake with our lives again? That's my thought.
No, thank you. And I appreciate everything you said. So let me say this, because a lot of people I've noticed they're saying that, it's those nurses, they the problem. Whole pediatric nurse right here, certified and everything. Let me just give you a little bit of insight when you're monitoring your patient, right? So we can't write orders as a nurse. You have got to call the doctor. And there's plenty of doctors that I call that literally they will curse you out because you waking up out of their sleep. They will ask you 99 questions. Some of them I literally had to get on the phone and beg them to come see their patient. Then when I couldn't get them to see the patient, then I would have to go beg the resident, please come see this patient, and then you call the doctor. So it's not all the time that you call the doctor and the doctor's like, all right, cool, I'll be right there. No, they ask you 99 questions. Did you do 200 things? And it's like, dude, I wouldn't be calling you if I wasn't concerned. And listen, we have to call the doctor when we go in your room and you in pain. If the order is not high enough to take care of your pain, it's not like I could just go in there and get you something different. I got to call that doctor. And the doctors, some of them, you still got to go through their answer service because they're not on call and this one's on call. And you're begging for 2 hours to get this patient some higher medication. So a lot of people drop the ball in this situation. But this is my tip to everybody. If you're in the hospital, you think something's not right, and you feel your nurse is not listening to you, you feel your doctor's not listening to you, you better ask for that patient advocate. Then you better, because all over these hospitals, they will tell you who is running that hospital. The pictures are on the wall somewhere.
Right.
You better call and make phone calls until somebody comes to see you and hears your concern. And that's all I'm saying. But I'm going to just put out for the nurses there. It's not all our fault. Sometimes we be begging and begging and begging and begging. Just like you're talking to us and saying something ain't right, sometimes we're begging and saying, listen, this patient has a concern, something ain't right. And there's always a nurse supervisor on call. You have to ask for all of these people. And sometimes if you happen to be in a hospital by yourself, call one of your family members and say, oh, my mom or whoever wants to speak to you. I tell people all the time, put them on speaker. Let me talk to them, because we're going to get this together.
Yeah.
So, but they really did, because first of all, this is just so anybody knows, when you have a catheter in and the urine is going in the bag, if it's tinged red, is looking a little pinkish, okay, that's not going to be a major problem. But if the bag looks like blood, that's a problem. So a lot of people did drop the ball on this particular situation, but also after she had that C-section, a doctor should have made a round. A lot of people dropped the ball, but it's not all the nurse. Roy, was you ready, or do you want me to go to Nikki?
This is a really, really sad situation. And coming from a person who just got out of the hospital, I can definitely say that there are some amazing nurses out here. But then we got some of these nurses who just really do not care about the patients. And like you said, some of the responsibility is on the doctor as well. It is hard to get in contact with the doctors. I'm glad that the lawsuit was filed and that they got it settled. Unfortunately, she did lose her life. But my concern really is for the dad, who is still, coping as if the mom is still present. This dad has gone through some traumatization.
For sure.
And I think that as well as money being put into training, I think money needs to be set aside also for patients, after they have left the hospital, and after they have dealt with the passing or whatever it is, so that they can really talk to someone. I'll kind of be a little personal in my situation. While I was in the hospital, my therapist fell out of network of my insurance. And the hassle of trying to find someone has just been a burden. I finally found someone. But I just think that along with the educational care, there needs to be more for the patient care as well. Financial help for those who go in the hospital off a split and they just don't have it. There are just so many different avenues that our medical system needs to work on, and I'm glad that someone has got it started, but we got a long way to go. We have a very long way to go.
We definitely have a long way to go. Tom Fan 84, thank you for the super chat. Did the same thing to Serena Williams. So that tells you this ain't a money thing, right? When she had her first daughter, had she not voiced her concern about feeling blood clots, she may have died. Facts. So here's the thing too, right? I want to say their age is 35. So I have my son at 35, and they automatically, because of your age, your maternal age, they say you're high risk pregnancy. So I had a high risk pregnancy just because of my age. And I was fine and running around the town shopping and doing everything. It was at the 11th hour, and you have to look it up because I don't want to go too long on this thing. But at the end of the day, I had health syndrome. Almost died. Literally almost died. They call it the silent killer. Almost died. But I will say this, because every situation is not all bad. Literally, I walked in the hospital and I just had a slight headache. When they took my blood pressure, and my son came 4 weeks early. He was supposed to be born in August. He was born in July. And I literally thought I was just going there so they could tell me I was all right and to go home. No, they took my blood pressure. It was out the roof. to the point where the nurse said, let me just take it again. Like she didn't even believe it was correct. Took the blood pressure again. Next thing I know, she was yelling down the hallway, calling for everybody, monitor so she could see how my son was doing. She put the monitor on my belly. 2 seconds later, they had me in the OR. They had me in the OR. They saved my life and my kid's life. And every now and then I think about that, and to God be the glory. So there are a lot of people out in this world that they do care. It's just sad when you get those ones that they don't care. There's some people that they do the profession because they want the money, and there's other people that do the profession because that's what they really want to do and they truly love it. I love nursing, but I'm telling you, even going through nursing school, it ain't for the faint of heart. And it's not so much because of the work, it's because of, the darn racism. How a teacher going to look you in the face and don't even know you and tell you you're not going to make it? You'll never be a nurse. I promise you, looked me dead in the face and said that. What are we doing here? And this is not that long ago, right?
Wow.
In the face and said that. And I was going to, because this was my second degree. I had already had a bachelor's degree, and I went back to school for nursing. And I was going at night because I was working. I couldn't afford to just quit work full time and go. I was going at night. And that school I went to, the classes was $5,000 in change for a class. So,
what was your first degree in?
Communications and business.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah. So I'm like $5,000 in change per class. You think I was going to fail a class at $5,000 in change? No, but I had to sit there and fight the whole way through. 2 years in change at night after I worked and had to do clinicals, and I'm fighting the system. So it's like when we go into these particular professions, it's like we got to fight our way through it. When every doctor, once they finish medical school, they got to do their residency. Had a Black female doctor. Every time she tried to graduate from a program, they threw a bone at her pretty much. They threw a bone. She, to the point where, and I felt bad for her, right? But now she has a criminal record because she snapped. This is a true story. Literally came in the emergency room and God saved her because she had a pow, but
It jammed.
It jammed, Denzel.
Wow.
It jammed. God saved her on that front.
Yeah,
but
he did.
She snapped because they was going to kick her out the program for the second time. And this chick was going to have to start over. The second time. And she got to her third year. And they wasn't about to promote her to the next year. It's the mind games they play with you. So I do agree. It needs to be more of a support system.
Right.
It needs to be more of an understanding. And let me tell you this. They don't even, the dermatologists, try to find a dermatologist that look like you that could take care of your skin. And all I can say is good luck.
Well, Diva, the ones that do look like us are a little cocky and sometimes horrible, nasty people too. I'm sorry, it's just the truth. Sometimes they don't even want to take our insurance.
You're telling the truth. You telling the truth, Sebastian.
Sometimes the Black doctors don't want to have Black patients too.
Well, you know what, Sebastian? We going to talk about it. We got to talk about it. You talking facts. And the ones I do know, they take no insurance.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, no. They don't. They want you to pay cash because they know they got it like that. Why? Because there's only like 5 of them that you can find.
See, that's the problem.
And it's a cash-only business. They want cash only. And
just cash.
How many people just have cash like that? Some people barely have their copay. Yeah, they want cash only. This is a subject that it can go so many directions. But I do believe, like you said, Juice, regardless of the troubled road you may walk, we do need more people to walk down that road. Because it's a different understanding. The cream you may give me for my skin may not work on my skin. It may burn my skin.
Right.
But it may work on somebody else's.
Right.
So, and then a lot of times when certain people come into the emergency room in the hospital, they automatically think, when they say they're in pain, they automatically think they're drug seekers. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Nikki,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts? I'm listening. Roy, Juice, call the next person after Nikki. I gotta run to the potty. I'll be right back, y'all.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
So I have a I have a lot of thoughts because I currently work, like I always say, in a hospital.
Yeah.
I happen to work with people who have. I work in the psych part, so people who have
Okay.
mental disturbances and things like that. But they also have medical problems, and we usually get them from. They call it medi-psych, so it means you had maybe like high blood pressure or diabetes, and then once you're done over there, you come see us. So I agree wholeheartedly with what Diva was saying about, and even what you were saying about doctors and nurses and all of this, because like I said, I work there, and it can be very, very challenging because it's supposed to be like an interdisciplinary effort for each patient, but it's not like it's supposed to be. I mean, I've worked with people who are like total care people, which means they can't do anything for themselves. And so you have to do everything. And I would send them to the hospital and literally be like fighting with doctors because they
Wow.
send them right back home. I'm like, you couldn't have checked this person out within an hour. It's just not possible. And
Wow.
this person is screaming because they can't talk. They're blind. They're deaf. Like, I know something's wrong. His stomach is extended. I'm not even a medical professional, but I know that, so it's infuriating. And then also too, like, even with like the patients that I work with that are in psych, many times, I'm doing the discharge, meaning they're about to leave, and I'm talking to them about whether or not they are, what's the right word? Suicidal. I don't know if I can use that word, SI, or have any type of ideation, which means they could do self-harm or harm to others. And I clearly know that this person should not be leaving. So the only thing I can do ethically, because like Diva said, I'm not the doctor. I am the therapist, and in some roles, I'm the social worker. And so the only thing I can do to protect myself from getting sued or losing my license is basically, if I call what are they called? The PAs are called physician's assistant. And I say, hey, this person is saying this. Technically, legally, we're supposed to not let that person leave. That's technically what we're not supposed to do. But the only thing we can do is call the doctor, like Diva was saying, and say, hey, this is what this patient is saying. I think they should stay another day. And if that doctor says, nope, we think they're good enough to go ahead and move forward with discharge, there is absolutely nothing I can do but pray. I mean, honestly, but I write a note. Social worker said, therapist stated that this is what, patients said before they left. They indicated X, Y, and Z, because that's going to protect me. Because if something happens and that patient walks out of that building, and something has happened, not on my watch, but things have happened, and they get hurt in some way, they still got our little band on, so they know where they came from, and the hospital can get sued, like you were saying. So it's just, to me, it's very unfortunate. I know I've shared with you guys, last year I was sick most of the year, and I still don't know. I've had 4 surgeries, all of that throughout last year, and they still couldn't tell me what's wrong with me. I'm better now, so I'll take it. I'll take the W. But there were situations where I remember I had surgery earlier that day, and the pain was not gone. It was excruciating. And I'm like, I've had surgery before. This is not right. Like, I know for myself, this is not right. I'm on the phone crying. Well, my husband's on the phone with the surgeon, and I'm crying in the background. And the doctor's like, take her in. And then we get there, and they didn't believe me. They didn't give. I was there for 4 hours. They never gave me any type of medication. None. Because like you said, they don't believe me. I'm Black. I'm a Black lady. I have to be exaggerating my pain. Or you think because I'm a Black lady, I'm strong enough to take it. And it's ludicrous. I have a band on that says I was at this other hospital this morning. What are you talking about? But even when he was like, I was like, well, I want to leave. They throw this thing at me where it's called, it's basically against medical, I forget what it's called, against medical recommendations or something. And so my husband's like, I have to take her back to the regular hospital since y'all aren't going to help her. And we only went there because it's closer to my house. And it's sad because my husband was just kind of like, I want to take my wife somewhere where she can get help. She's in pain. She had surgery 6 hours ago. Like, I just couldn't understand it. So immediately I'm thinking, A, because I'm Black, B, because I'm a woman, C, because you think that I might be what Diva said earlier, just wanting some drugs or whatever the case may be. And he said to them, no, take this IV out of her arm. We're going to go. And then the nurse was like, he's like, I'm leaving with my wife. And the nurse was like, if you leave, I'm going to call the constable. And I immediately, my whole fur came up on my whole body, because all I could think about is, my husband is a smart individual. You're not going to just tell him anything. He's not going to back down. But all I could think is, if a constable or some law enforcement person shows up, it could go bad real quick. Right. And I just couldn't. So I was just like, you know what, give me a paper, I'll sign it. And it's unfortunate, because that should never happen. I should be able to advocate for myself and my own health. And my husband, who's my other advocate, should also be able to do that. But what you learn really quickly, or at least what I learned, is that we are not all created equal. I mean, you already know that as a brown person walking around, but it just, I didn't want to believe that the race part played such a big part. But it's kind of like, what other logical conclusion can I come to that would explain why you don't believe me? You know what I mean? I showed you the cuts on my, like, I don't understand why you wouldn't believe me, but it's unfortunate. And last thing I just want to say, I have a friend, her mom passed last August, almost a year ago. And her mom was very sick. She had some sort of stomach cancer. And she was homeless. She had mental problems. Long story short, when she was at the hospital advocating for her mom, I happened to ironically be in a class called Death and Dying. So it talked about the interdisciplinary team and all of the people that, if you are, what is it called, Diva, when someone's dying? I forget what it's called. There's a hospice. And hospice team is supposed to help you kind of like transition and stuff like that. And these people were in there. She couldn't speak English. So they're in there having her try to sign documentation, which, again, unethical. When she doesn't understand English in the way that you're giving it to her. She has the right to have someone translate it for her. Anyway, I won't go into the whole thing of it, but it just further enraged me of like, you're just doing this because she's brown. Like, I don't think if she wasn't brown, this would be happening.
Yeah, a lot of hospice nurses in situations, some of them, God bless them, I don't know how they do it, but most of them, 99.9% of the time, are like some of the nicest.
They are. They're like little angels, I feel
like. Yes, they are. Yes,
but it wasn't them yet, because she was still in the hospital.
It was the people helping her.
They just wanted, financially, I feel like the hospital wanted to just not have her here. She's homeless. She's this, that, and the third.
Oh, yeah, how do we get her out of here? That's facts. That's facts. That's facts.
Yeah, I think she don't have any insurance. She doesn't speak English. Right. So it's like, how can we get her out of here? And I had to keep like fighting on my friend's behalf. Like, no, you need to demand this. You need to demand that. Otherwise, if she didn't have me there to kind of like tell her, because I'm the social worker or whatever, they probably would have kicked her out weeks before. And it's unfortunate, because this is her mom. You need your mom. You're 37 years old, so like, anywho.
Sad. For sharing.
Yeah.
Emmanuel, what are your thoughts?
I think this is so sad. Like, to think about it, like Ju said, this is supposed to be a beautiful moment, and for it to end like this, it's like, it's horrible. It's kind of scary. I don't know like too much about this because I'm not in the medical field, but I did do this thing, this research thing for anthropology about reproductive injustice, and yes, like Black women have such a high maternal mortality rate compared to other races, and there has to be a reform. Well, there has to be a reform for a lot of things, but specifically in the medical field, and there's a lot of factors that go into it, like socioeconomics, pre-existing conditions, medical racism, racism in general. And yes, Juice is right about people should start studying to work on stuff like this, because I'll never forget what Dr. Jackie said. We are the closest thing that a patient has to God in that moment. So this is really important.
That's a good statement, because that's facts. That's a good statement. That's facts. Naomi, you are correct, because I'm not saying every person in the medical field is perfect. You're right. Some of them don't even call the doctor.
Right.
It's like, yo, did you tell the doctor that I was in this much pain? Can you tell the doctor to come see me? What's up? What's good?
They say they forget. That's what they say.
Yeah, some of them do. I'm not gonna lie. That's facts. That's true. I had a sickle cell patient one time, and I came back in the morning. I had the person before I did the morning shift. I did my shift, got the patient all together, stabilized as much as I could with the pain meds, whatever, passed it on, told the night nurse, stay on top of it. Make sure this person don't never get into pain, because once they get in pain, forget about it. It's hard chasing their pain, right? Sickle cell, that's another disease that, good gosh, right?
It's no joke.
is no joke.
We need more education on that too.
Yes, we
We
do.
need more education.
Yes.
My son has sickle cell trait, and I had
Oh wow.
conversation with my son. I had to tell him, when you meet someone, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to be one of those that ask, do
Yep.
you have sickle cell trait? You have to ask that question. So we need more in-depth conversation about that too.
Yeah,
Very
because it matters for who you marry and your kids.
it
Because
does.
2 traits and your kid could have.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. So I was like, make sure, because I finally got him in a good spot where, no pain or whatever. Come back in the morning, got my same patient back. I said, how's he doing? Ba, 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 ba. Oh, we're fine. Get in there, extreme pain. I want to slap the night nurse. And who you work behind, in nursing, it matters. I worked in the rehab. I was doing per diem in the rehab. I told the nursing supervisor, I will never work at the so-and-so again. Because I don't know what she doing that night.
Wow.
Because I felt like she wasn't doing nothing. Every time I came in and had her patients, it was a hot mess. It's a hot mess. Where am I at? Emmanuel, am I up to you? Did you speak already?
Yeah, I just
okay. Dadon, what are your thoughts?
I have a story for this. It's so close to me. It's ridiculous. So when my daughter was born, we lived in a neighborhood that flew Confederate flags everywhere, and it was that type of neighborhood.
Wow.
And the hospital that we went to, we had white nurses, of course. And after the epidural that my ex-wife got, her feet got numb. So we kept telling the nurses, something's not right. They would just ignore, trying to pass it off. Some of them at the nurses' stations eating, and I felt like they weren't doing enough. So I decided to take a walk around the hospital. Just so happened, the nurse that was taking care of her at the doctor's appointments was in the hospital, which was a Black doctor. And she coincidentally went to our church. So she came up, saw her and said, wait a minute, something's not right. Got the doctors on the horn, and then they took her. She was scheduled to get a C-section anyway, but then they took her immediately to get it done. So I felt like at that particular, nobody deserved to get paid. Any nurse that touched her did not deserve to get paid. So what I did, because I work in insurance, I went and looked up all of their NPIs. And I made sure that they weren't getting any billable hours. They didn't bill for a diagnosis code. They didn't bill for anything under those specific nurses' NPIs. I was not playing. You were not going to get paid off of this room stay here today. None of the nurses did, because they all ignored her. They all did. So I agree with Juice. I would like to see more Black doctors, but the nurses that are here, now let me say this: we got great nurses, and the nurses do better than the doctors, because most of the time the doctor comes in, swipe your forehead, and that's it. The nurse have already done all the work. But when you have those nurses and doctors that are just POSs, it makes it bad across the board. So, I just, for us people, we got to be extremely verbal. Call your insurance company while you're in there. Let them know that you're not being treated. Hospitals are afraid of insurance companies. They're afraid of not getting paid.
He's telling facts.
So if you have to have almost a list of people to call if you're not going to be treated fairly in the hospital. Because that's the way. I made sure they didn't get paid. I saw them claims come, and they tried, and I made sure they got denied.
Well, holla, that's a good idea. You got to stop the process somehow, some way. And what if you didn't happen to bump into somebody that was God? What if you didn't happen to bump into somebody that you knew that came there to that room and helped? There's a lot of things that I know about only because I worked in the hospital. I would have never known otherwise.
Yes.
I would have never known otherwise about speaking to the patient advocate, about, asking for the supervisor on call, about, now a lot of the rooms, though, they do have a number on the board where they say today is your nurse, this is your doctor, and then there's a number that say, a lot of them that say, your patient advocate is blah blah blah, and you can call the number. You got to speak up. You gotta speak up, and you gotta stay on that call bell until somebody responds to you. And if you got a family member that's in the hospital, go there and check on them and help them. And I ain't going to even get on the nursing homes. God bless every person in the nursing home, because those are brutal. I did per diem in the nursing home. I lasted a day. A day. Oh, you want to know why? How the heck am I supposed to take care of 20-something patients? How? Wow. How? That's a nursing home. That's a nursing home assignment. A good one, you might have 10 or 15, which is still a lot. I had girlfriends that did med surg. I would never, but this is me. Well, we need nurses to do it. I just wasn't going to do it. Girlfriend did med surg. She told me one day she had 10 patients. I like to die. I told her, see, in pediatrics, they would give us no more than 4 or 5. When we had 7, it was just that it was popping. It was popping.
Aren't all new grads from nursing school mostly go to med surg though?
They don't do that anymore because they're so desperate and they need help.
Oh, so they don't do that anymore? That's good.
No, you can go right into emergency room in the ICU now, right out of nursing school, which I don't particularly advise. There's a lot of nurses. There's a lot of nurses that go right into home care, right out of nursing school, because they want the money. I don't advise that. I told my one girlfriend I would not do home care until you did a few years in the hospital, because in home care, you walking through that door and it's all on you.
Right.
In the hospital, you press the button, it's a code, everybody there in the room, 2.2 seconds. You can yell out the room, I need help. And everybody's running in the room to help you. When you walk into somebody's house, it's on you. And don't go in nobody's house and you assess them that day and the next minute they gone. That's a lot on you.
That's a lot.
You better have, because you all the charting. And listen, any nurse know out there, they said if you didn't chart it, you didn't do it. I don't care if you did do it. They're going to say if you did not chart it, you didn't do it. Because that's in a court of law. I don't care what you comes out of your mouth. If it was not in that chart, you didn't do it. Well, I gave the antibiotic. Well, that's not what you wrote. Well, the person ain't. Well, that's not what's here. And nurses go down for a lot because we carry out the order. So a doctor could write the wrong order and we carry it out, we going down. Doctor could have wrote the wrong order, you carried it out, that patient died, you going down. The doctor will get some of the aftermath because he wrote the order, but you the one that carried it out, you're going down. That's why I never went to the hospital tired. Never. Because in pediatrics, you got to calculate those meds to the T. Adults get a lot of standard medications. And P's, they base the meds off of the child's weight. I wasn't going to mess up for nothing. I went to work wide awake every single day.
That's right.
Because I'm not killing nobody family member, not on my watch. No, I was on point with it. Because, that's what you signed up for. A lot of people, they sign up for different jobs, but then they don't want to live up to what they signed up for.
A lot of nurses do that, actually. Did you know there's a lot of young people going to nursing school now just because they want to make an extra bank? They don't actually care about people.
Right. Well, you're going to learn real quick and real fast if you one of those, because it ain't no joke.
It's not.
And let me tell you, the saddest thing, even when you know it's coming, because there's some people that we got a birthday, we got a death day. It's gonna come, right? So there's some people that legit they're dying. But it's one thing if a person is dying, it's another thing if a person died because you were neglectful. Radiance, what are your thoughts?
Ooh, such a sensitive topic. The Dawn, I'm glad it worked out miraculously for you and your family. So lots of love and healing energy sent to y'all and to all the families and to all of the Black women and Black families that have suffered through this for decades. So I'm glad that this is finally getting some kind of notice. Unfortunately, this is how we get America attention by lawsuits and things going wrong and people losing their lives. That's how we get their attention to reform to welcome in change. I will say that there are a lot of good medical professionals, people that are passionate about what they do, but like a lot of people on the panel have shared, they are overworked, they're tired, they're juggling so many different patients and so many different tasks. They can't be by everybody's side at one time and adequately give them the help that they need effectively. So that is part of the issue as well. And also, I think it's a wonderful idea to have more Black people go into the medical field. But we have to educate the majority because we are still a minority. So we can only do so much. We can only reach so many people. So we have to still educate the other side.
Yes.
And you know what I'm saying? And how to treat us and go through more lawsuits and go through more of the legal side. And I think it's great with what everybody shared, what the Don said, get your insurance on the phone, have your spouse, have your kids, have your family members, have everybody on the phone, have them in the room if they got to take shifts, because you got to advocate for yourself. And it's not fair. And if you got to be over there overnight or for several days, you're probably going to need more application. And if you're sleep or if you're under some kind of medication, you probably can't fend for yourself as much. So it does take a team. So it takes a village when we go into these healthcare facilities for sure.
Yes, for sure. Now let me just show you something really quick, and then I'm gonna go to the next person. This doctor right here that wrote this book, Dr. Galucci. This man right here, pediatric surgeon, right? And in this book, My Life with God, he tells about all the different stories with all his different patients. Luckily, I worked in a Catholic hospital. So, you was able to pray in that hospital. Matter of fact, overhead, like in the morning, they would always say a prayer. They had the chapel, but most hospitals, I believe, I'm not 100% sure, they do have a chapel within their hospital because the chaplain comes, when something happens or whatever the case may be. This man right here was the man. I'm talking a doctor. He has since retired, but this man was in no joke. And when I tell you he knew his stuff, when I tell you he cared about the patient, when I tell you I love working with him, and when I tell you in this book he tells a story, because some people, they get into a profession that was meant to be. He said for some odd reason when he was a kid, so he had a sister, right? And his sister would have those cloth dolls. He said for some odd reason as a kid, he would literally slice the cloth doll down the middle, stitch the doll back up.
Oh my goodness.
And I tell you, this man, when his patient come out of surgery, you wouldn't even know he cut him open. I'm talking about the perfect stitch. The perfect stitch. If you ever just want to lay back and read a book about, patients and all the medical and everything he did, it's a good book. He tells these stories. He literally, and he said he didn't understand why. He was obsessed with it, right? He would literally cut it and he would stitch. And when I tell you, when that man did surgery, I mean, you would be like, well, where literally the bandage, like a lot of appendectomies, AP surgery. Literally, it would be a little cut like this, and that man would stitch you up so perfect. Good doctor. So there are a whole bunch of good ones out there, but I think the message we're trying to tell everybody is keep saying something until somebody listens. I'll give you another tip really quickly because, again, it's an insurance thing, right? If you go to the ER because you think something's wrong and they send you home, and you go back home and a couple hours later you still don't feel right, go back to the ER.
Okay.
Go back to that same one, right? They send you home and you still feel something. Like, go home for an hour, go back to that same ER because they can't send you home 3 times in a row because if something happens, it's going to be a major problem.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to say if it's really, really bad and you just think that's a bad facility, go to another hospital. Okay, so you can do a mix, go back and forth. But I do not leave. When I feel listen, I'm a whole nurse, and I promise you this, I live up in the urgent care and in the doctors. No, you're going to figure this out. You're going to find out what's going on with me. Your body talks to you. Your body talks to you. And your body is designed, and I'm not talking about when it's something major. Your body is designed to pretty much heal itself,
Mm-hmm.
right? But if something keeps knocking in your body, that's your body saying, I done tried. You got to get somebody higher now to help us out here. I tried to save us, okay? Because you know, if you eat something bad, what happens? It comes out either one way or the other, right? That's your body saying, okay, I know something ain't right. I'm getting rid of this. You understand what I mean? So your body will always try to do the best it can to save you first. When it's at the point where your body is screaming at you, you got to go get help. Your body can no longer do this for you. That's why they say a fever is a major sign. Something ain't right.
Right.
You could take some Tylenol, but if you taking Tylenol 5 days later, no, it's beyond, your body can't do it anymore. But let me shut up. Sebastian, did I come to you already? Because my
No.
Okay, go ahead. You're on.
Okay. This situation is very sad. It's just, you know, the fact that she was practically ignored, it just doesn't faze me right as well at all. At all. It is not. It's horrible. It's disgusting, especially when there's blood being seen. That's problematic. That's very problematic.
Yes.
I hope in the future the medical schools need to be held, well, they need to be more inclusive in their education. They need to show how diseases affect different races due to different cultures. And also, I'm gonna say this, the chat could get mad, I don't care. Certain people have elevated labs due to their diet in their culture and the foods that they eat in their culture.
Well, that's true.
It's just the truth. And medicine needs to advance. That's what science does. Science does advance over time. That's how it works. Researchers need to do a better job. I understand.
Sebastian, I'm gonna let you finish, but you know what we have to do a better job at do also, we have to sign up for these clinical trials.
Yes, that's another thing. But the thing is, that's very Black people are traumatized from signing up from those clinical trials.
Don't give me this. What was that Tuskegee?
Tuskegee study thing? That's the biggest.
I cannot.
That's the biggest reason why.
But you know what? That's problematic for us though too, right? You can't expect them to help us if we don't sign up for these clinical trials.
Agree. That's why I love Tiffany from Love and Marriage Huntsville, because she made that point. Black people need to sign up for these trials. Why am I getting a phone call? Oh God. Hello?
I'll come back to Sebastian.
Oh wow.
Wait, what happened? What happened?
I'm back. I thought you said hello because you was getting a phone call. Go ahead, finish.
Okay.
I cannot.
Also, this needs to be said. The little Black doctors that we do have, the small few, y'all need to stop being cocky. Y'all need to stop being itches. Y'all need to stop being vultures. If you want to quote unquote do community work, you have to be willing to take insurance that majority of the Black people do have. You got to be willing to do that. You can't just be saying cash only, cash only, cash only. And Dr. Walters, I'm talking to you. Allegedly, you do that, Dr. Jackie Walters. I'm talking to you, Dr. Jackie Walters. I'm talking to you.
Oh my.
Allegedly. You can't be doing this mess. You can't. You cannot. Seconds. I had to curse out a nurse once. I cursed out a nurse due to a kidney stone, and she was Black. She was Black. And I overheard her speaking to the other nurse when I said, my back is killing me due to the stone passing. She said, oh, he's just over exaggerating. You know, these young people, they just over exaggerate. She said that. I called that woman an itch, everything in that emergency room. I had to cuss the living sugar iced tea out of that heifer. It was Black nurses and Black doctors, they need to stop being bougie, as someone mentioned in the chat. Just because you got your degree and you're now making 6 figures, it don't mean that it don't mean that you're God. It doesn't. They have a superiority complex. It needs to be said. I'm sorry. Y'all could drive me to the
Sebastian?
It needs to be said. They are not good people. Some of them are horrible and malicious. As I always said, it be your own kind that be willing to disrespect you.
Sebastian not lying though. I had to recently change my insurance and I had to up my plan because one of my doctors was not on. They no longer took the insurance. And I had to up my plan an additional $180 a month just so that I can keep this same doctor.
Yeah.
So that point,
Miss Wilson, don't do that. Don't do that, Mrs. Wilson. Don't.
She said, if you want to talk about Dr. Jackie, let everybody know.
Take it because she's a cosmetic dentist. She's not a regular dentist. Most insurance won't cover cosmetic.
So she's not a real doctor? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, she is a dentist, but she only does cosmetics. She no longer does regular practice.
General dentistry.
Oh, okay.
She only does cosmetics.
It's to make your teeth pretty. It's not about health of the teeth.
Well, y'all
But let's be clear though. There are a lot of cosmetic dentists that still take insurance because part of sometimes the cosmetic stuff, it's part of that is covered. Okay, had to get a dental implant. The actual implant was not covered, but the screw and other parts of it was. So you can use my insurance for some pieces of it, and the other piece, then you don't use your insurance. Okay, they heard your voice on these YouTube streets and gave you the business. Okay, they talking to you, Sebastian. But listen, you know what? Pieces of what everybody is saying is correct, right? It's like, so we get the doctors of culture to get in the business, but then they outprice the people who need them. It's like you can't go to them. I know the dermatologist that I know that looks like me that's in my area. Whoa, you better get your money together and get ready. Now, let me tell you, she will definitely solve every problem you have. And you will leave there glowing and all of that with your skin. But you got to have the money. You got to have the money. And I'm talking big money, right?
How much that consultation fee? $500?
It was darn near.
Exactly.
It was darn near. It was darn near.
But Diva, you know they want their money up front because you know how we black people do.
Well, who did not get to speak on this subject?
I didn't get
I
to speak.
haven't.
Okay, go ahead. Then I'll come to Denzel. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so you are totally right about the home care nurse. I can't stand them. Okay, I've not had one good experience with home care nurse. My sister had a tracheotomy, and the home care nurse came out, put the saline in her trach, and said, "I don't know how to use this machine. This is a new machine." We literally had to call the ambulance, and my sister passed away in the ambulance because she was literally suffocating.
Oh no.
I hate home care nurses. I do. And because my sister was on Medicaid, she can't sue. We can't sue for that because it's government.
What?
Wow, that is ridiculous.
So bad. My home care nurse came out to my mom, did the same thing. We had to take her to the emergency room. Just by the grace of God, she didn't die that time. I hate home care nurses. I really do. I would never do a home care nurse ever.
Well, it's not all of them. First of all, in my opinion, I'm sorry to hear that story. But second of all, that's another thing, right? You got to know where you're going to, and like, is this person trach certified?
Well, I was assuming that they sent her out there. She should know. And at the time, I was 16. They did show us how to use it. But I never thought I was going to be in a situation where I would be there by myself with my sister. You know, 16, you don't really pay attention to stuff like that.
Right.
So when she put the saline in, my mom, my dad was at work. I'm there with my sister. And when she said, "I don't know how to use the machine," my mind went frantic. Like, I'm sitting here looking at my sister. She's struggling to breathe because now this is cut off her circulation. She can't breathe. And I'm sitting there hysterical. I called my mom, my dad from work, and I'm trying to explain to them, but I'm hysterical. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm sitting here looking at my sister, and she's sitting here looking at me dumbfounded. And it's like, B, I need you to do something. Like,
Well, she drowned. I mean, how much saline did she put in the trach? And then she wasn't able to suction it out?
no, she wasn't. And by the time the M&Ms got there, my sister was in such a frantic, it was taking everything they could just to get her on the stretcher. And when they got her in the stretcher, I couldn't ride with her because it was too many people trying to work on her. One of the paramedics said he knew how to use the old machine. So what he was doing was he was using the bulb that you give to a baby, trying to suck the saline back out of her.
Oh, Jesus. Mm-mm.
How long ago was this?
Well, she said, in my opinion, said she was 16.
Yeah.
Oh.
At the time.
Wow.
Terrible. Sorry about that.
Sorry, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
that's sad. I'm sorry that happened.
Very
to you.
sad. So she drowned her. Depending upon how much
Again, we need more education. We need more education. We need better education. Somebody should have told this in-care nurse what type of machine she had before she got there and made sure she had proper training on that. Because the lives are too precious for us not to take the time out to get better education.
Well, how you throw saline down somebody thrown in, you don't know what machine they got first, so that you'll be able to suction it out.
Right.
I would have thought she would have looked at the machine first or something. And then when my mom went to researching this lady, come to find out this is the fourth patient that she had done, suffocated.
That's shocking, though. I never heard just because a person had Medicaid, you can't sue. I never heard that.
I didn't hear that either.
Oh, well, they sure said that. They said in Alabama you cannot sue because it was a government source. It was government insurance and government sources.
Oh, well, I'm so sorry to hear that story. Diana said, I never do trach. It's very dangerous. I could do it. I wasn't in love with it. And then too, that you got taught how to change out a person's trach. Then you also had to, when people have a trach, they should have they need to have a replacement trach by their bedside. And in case it falls out, and they need to have a lower size than the size that they originally have in there, just in case it shrinks up when it comes out. So you could put the lower one in there. Nursing is no joke. It's not for the faint of heart. It's not for the lazy. It's not for people that's not going to study and do their craft. Because it's no joke. It's a lot. And trachs are no joke. And you got to make sure you suction. And then if the person does have mucus there that is kind of blocked up, you can't just be shoving the saline down there. You got to be careful about the amount that you put down there and make sure that you're suctioning that thing out. And I always would try to suction it out before I put any saline in there, just to make sure maybe it's just I can get it out by just doing suction. But so sorry to hear that, in my opinion. I think I just want to get people, because I don't want people to walk away thinking every medical situation is bad. I just want people to walk away knowing that you got to really advocate for yourself and your family and anybody that is a patient, because they need you and you should always be heard. And if one nurse doesn't hear you, you go talk to another one. But you keep talking until somebody hears you. Denzel, what are your thoughts?
The person you was talking about, Diva, was that his wife that passed?
His wife, yep.
Wow. And their child survived?
The child survived, the mom did not.
Wow, that's sad. That's sad, and I'm praying for him and their child and their family. I'm praying for them. That's really sad. These, I'm not gonna say all, but some of these hospitals, they treat our people like trash.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me mad. It makes me mad because I watched this video on YouTube. I don't know if y'all saw it, but I watched this video. Y'all might heard of this person. I don't know if y'all did or not. I don't know. My point is that it was a it was a it was a it was a black it was a black trans woman. She was a YouTuber, and she was at the hospital, and she kept asking them she kept asking them time and time again that she needs help. She needs help. They didn't do nothing. Nothing. And unfortunately, she passed away. And I'm like, how can you sleep at night and the person is asking you to help them, and they sick, and they asking you to help them, and they just sitting there not doing nothing? Stuff like that, it pisses me off, because it's like you taking a life, you taking an innocent life, and like, what the hell is wrong with people? I like I said, all hospitals, all hospitals ain't like that, but it is some hospitals that treat our people like garbage, and it's ridiculous, and it needs to stop. And I'm just so sick of this racism too. Like, treat our people with respect.
Thank you, Denzel.
I'm sorry, Diva.
No,
I'm sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
It's sad.
It is very sad.
And can I say?
Yes, you can.
I'm sorry, Diva. Some people, and it's not all, but some people, they just do it for the money, and it's like, wow, we got to stay prayed up.
Amen.
That's all. I'm sorry, Diva.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Yes, find the charge nurse on the floor. A lot of people saying they're not taking Medicaid anymore. Diva, we need to end this on a positive note. Yeah, I got the positive note for you, and the positive note really is you have to make sure that you speak up and you keep talking until somebody hears you, and you don't care who you piss off. This is an old movie. What is that darn movie? And I love this freaking movie, and the name is slipping my mind right now. Shirley MacLaine played in it. Her daughter ended up having cancer, and she passed away. And I never forget, she went to the nurse's station because her daughter was in pain. And she was banging on the nurse's station desk. And she said, "My daughter, help my daughter now, help my daughter now." And they finally went in there and gave the daughter some pain medication and helped the daughter out. If somebody knows the darn name of that movie, I freaking love the movie. The movie is so darn sad, but I love the movie. But pretty much the point is, it's like, she advocated for. Thank you. I'm glad somebody always freaking connects with me, and I love y'all. The movie is called Terms of Endearment, and I love that movie because the mom was really advocating for her daughter. It was like, my daughter says she's in pain. Go there and give my daughter some medicine. Help my daughter out. So I think that some of the good things, right? Healthcare in this country is about making money, not about healing. Leo, you are correct, right? Thank you, guys. Yes, definitely. Terms of Endearment. I love that movie. I could watch it over and over again, and I cry like I saw it for the first time, right? So the thing is about healthcare and about healing in general, and we're over time as usual, so I'm about to close out, but I want to say this. We got to take care of our bodies so that our bodies can take care of us. We really do. And so I know that all of us probably fell, and including myself. Listen, I'm fighting my way back from it now, and it's not easy, right? We all have fallen into bad eating habits, and some of us just grew up on bad eating habits, and there's a history behind that. No matter what culture you're in, there's a history behind the way that we eat the foods that we eat. It really is.
Very true.
It's a history behind it. But the foods that we're eating, they're taking us down. They're taking us down big time. And the difference when we was growing up, I'm talking long time ago with our grandparents or whatever, when they made the food for us, it wasn't all of this extra stuff in it, like the pesticides and all of that, right? So at the very least, when we was eating these things, it was the fresh chicken and then they fried it, right? So at least it didn't have the pesticides and all the antibiotics in it, because now when you put chicken leg and some of these chicken wings, a freaking leg is this big. It just
It'd be
doesn't,
huge.
right?
The
Because you're
hormones.
pumping all of these hormones and stuff in the food. So at least way back when it first started, we ate those traditional foods. Yes, we ate those traditional foods, but the ingredients came from gardens, right? And farms, right? We got the milk fresh out the cow.
That's how it is in Europe.
Yeah. No, my grandmother had a farm. Yeah, you had to go squeeze that milk, and you got the milk fresh out the cow.
We should not be drinking cow's milk.
We got the eggs right from the chicken.
Really?
Yeah, and you don't have to wash the eggs when you get.
Yeah,
get
I was
it
stealing the baby chicks from the mama.
Listen, they would literally, it traumatized me a little bit of it. They would literally wring the neck on the fresh chicken.
Terrible.
Really?
I'm telling you, at the end of the summer when we was at our grandparents, they would literally roast the whole pig on the stick, like the whole pig was roasting. When we got the watermelons, it was right from the farm.
They had seeds.
Yeah, the farm.
So what all I'm saying is that when we ate like that, when we at least ate the Southern food back then, everything didn't have all of this other stuff in it, right? So we had the mac and cheese, but at least it was fresh milk, fresh eggs, and fresh cheese and all of that. Now everything is pasteurized. Now everything got a hormone in it. Now everything got pesticides on the food because they travel from here to there. So we can't win for losing, right? And if everything is pumped with tons and tons of sugar, and sugar is the devil. Sugar makes so much havoc on our body. It's unbelievable. Yes, Lizzie, it was fresh. So it's like, and then I can't go far because, like I said, overtime here. But the reason why we ate the fat back, the this and the that is because historically we would get the scraps and had to make a meal out of it.
Right? That's why Black people eat chitlins, right?
So you're right. So that's what I'm saying. Yes, from farm to table. Come on, talk to me, right? So what I'm saying is that we have to find our way back to the natural as best as we can. We have to take better care of our bodies so our bodies can help take care of us, right? And then you like your coffee, your tea, whatever, have your coffee, your tea, but then the rest of the day, try to drink some water.
Amen.
Yeah, that's what I need to do.
Yeah, you just got to try every day to do better. And listen, because my nephew had to, because he doesn't have a car, he walked everywhere. And I'm talking about he would walk to work, walk home, and he walks everywhere. Do you know that thing is he I said, well, how do you lose all that weight? He said, because I have to walk to work and walk home or whatever. So all I'm saying, with that being said, that tells you that we don't really need the gym. I'm not saying don't go, but you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, yes.
Excuses about I don't have the money, I don't have this, when you can simply go outside and walk.
That's true. That's true.
Woman, and this is a true story. Y'all can Google it. This woman, she said she didn't have no choice. She walked around her house. She literally walked around her house and she lost weight. So listen, guys, I love y'all.
Hey, Deborah.
We love you too.
Take care of yourself. Hey, Dustin, go ahead really quickly because I'm closing out.
I'm sorry. I just want to say I'm sorry that I was late tonight. I tried to get in, but I was already full. And you had a good life, and I love you very much.
I love you back. Okay. And thank you, everybody, for being here. Before we close out, I want to say this. Let's share the love. Juice Radio and Talk Show has a channel, everybody. Please go over there. She's doing good stuff. And we did a tour over there with her, and we will be doing more work, Roy and I, with Juice Radio and Talk Show. Okay. So go over there. Go over there, like and subscribe and to her channel. Okay. Roya has a channel. Roya is raw. Roya, if you don't mind, I hate putting you to work, but I got technical issues. Can you put that? Look at Roya, I love you.
He got it. He got it.
I love you, Roya. Oh my God. Thank you, Roya. And put yours in there too, Roya. So if y'all click on this link where you put in here, you will be able to subscribe right to Juice's channel, okay? And then Roya put his channel in there too, I think. Roya, put your channel in there too. So, and then In My Opinion has a channel, and Sebastian has a channel. If y'all guys,
no, my channel's on pending right now. So
okay,
Oh, it
Sebastian's
is?
channel, hold tight. Sebastian has a pen on his channel, so hold tight. But In My Opinion has a channel. In My Opinion, if you put your information in the chat.
What do you? Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Why does he have a pendant on his channel?
We'll have to talk about that another time.
I said pending. I said
How do I
pending.
get
Pending.
No, he's pending. He's holding off himself right now. But we got to do that another time because I'm way over time, y'all. And I got a pretty and pink luncheon tomorrow, and I got to be cute for the luncheon.
Enjoy.
I am the hostess, okay? So, In My Opinion, put your information in the chat too. But I want to say this, y'all. Thanks for being here. I appreciate y'all. It was a great train ride. And every now and then we got to throw some serious topics out there because we need to have this discussion. So everybody, take care of yourselves. Do the best you can. All right. So eat one less bad thing tomorrow and just take care of your body and give yourself a time. You know, whatever time you want to call for yourself. If you say the time is going to be 8 p.m. at night, force yourself not to eat nothing else after 8 p.m. at night.
So I shouldn't go to McDonald's and get French fries right now?
No, you should not.
Better not.
Good night, y'all.
Drink your water.
Love you, Diva. Love y'all. Y'all have a blessed night. Have a blessed weekend. Be blessed.